Hey everyone, today we're going to walk through the difference between responsive and adaptive pages in AVstudio Editor. So we'll start in the Pages tab. It's going to be the top left corner up here. And pages are the main screens your end users will see, and they're essentially the core of your whole entire layout. So this is where you can create your page, you can name them, select a start page, and then upon creation, you can select whether it will be adaptive or responsive. Let's start. We're going to create a page here, and this one we will name responsive. And then let's make sure we select the responsive setting right here. And keep in mind, you can only select between adaptive and responsive upon the creation of your page. But being able to easily select between the two just right here in the settings is really such a helpful and innovative feature for AVstudio. Definitely will save you a lot of time on development. So we'll add that, and then let's do the same thing with adaptive. So we'll select that there. So here's an example of how adaptive pages work. Adaptive pages use an absolute positioning model where elements are placed using exact coordinates on the page. This gives a precise control over placement while still allowing elements to behave predictably as screen sizes change and device types change, resolutions and things like that. And then this is an example of how responsive pages work. Responsive pages use layout rules to dynamically scale and reposition the elements based on screen size. So instead of manually defining coordinates, you can create a single layout and let the system handle how elements are distributed as the device changes and resolution changes. This approach is usually ideal for supporting multiple screen sizes with a single design. So if you anticipate that happening with your project, this might be the better way to go. But both options are great for different projects. It's fantastic to have these features just readily accessible. This is really beneficial for speeding up your development time, and I just encourage you to explore both options to see what might be best for your project. So let's take a closer look at responsive and adaptive pages within the editor itself. So we'll start with responsive. So here we are on a blank responsive page. To test this out, we'll have to add some elements to this. So you could either right click, add an element here, we'll just add a button, or you can drag and drop over here. Arrow will show you what these are, so we'll just add another button below it. And once the button is added, you can just click it here, and then you'll see all the properties here on the right side. But you'll notice if you drag it around, it will just click right back to where it was assigned to. So this is basically the layout rules. It just stays right in the center. But why is this? If we go to the left here, we'll see the page containers. Then we click this little drop down for the container, and then we'll see container options. Container options will pull up on the right side here, and you'll see alignment. And then with alignment, this is kind of how everything is positioned and just the rules set for your responsive page. So you can mess around with the settings here to achieve whatever positioning you'd like. So I'll show you a few examples. Elements distribution, you can do maybe the end. It'll show at the bottom. You can switch around. And yeah, you have a lot of different options here. So I'll just show you, for example, let's go with maybe this one. And then let's say you want to add another element. It's just super easy. You can drag and drop, and they all kind of reposition themselves, and they'll stay locked in. And up here is a button to view how your layout looks on different device types. So right now we have iPad Pro. If you see that, it's going to change to that resolution, and everything stays in the exact same element distribution and alignment. So you can kind of fool around with that, see how your elements change. This one's really good for just keeping everything in place and exactly where you meant it to be. So now we'll go over to the adaptive page and do kind of a similar thing. But there's a big difference with adaptive pages. So we'll drag and drop, and you'll see wherever we place it, unlike the responsive, it just stays there. So that's a big difference with adaptive pages. Now this flexibility is obviously great, but you have to be more careful with different resolutions. I'll just place down a few more buttons just for the example. All right, so we have 4 buttons here, and then we'll click on each of our buttons. So you'll see some different settings here, and specifically you'll see element constraints. These determine the general way your elements will spread in different device types. So it's on the top right here. I will just make sure it's selected correctly. You can just click these little buttons here. All right, so they're all set. And then let's click on the tester, and you can kind of see how it works. So based on different resolutions, these will just change automatically. and adapt according to different device types. So both options are great. It really just depends on your needs for your project. I would say just build out your project normally and then test it out on both sides to see kind of the difference for you and maybe what might be best for your project. So that's about everything for this video. If you need additional help, you can check out our documentation page. So that's about everything for this video. If you need additional help, you can check out our documentation page, or feel free to comment below, email us, or visit our community portals, all of which are linked in the video description. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, please subscribe to the channel for future walkthroughs, like the video if you enjoyed it, and leave any feedback or questions you have in the comments.